Good morning, everyone, and welcome to week 4. I hope everyone's doing well as we kind of enter the first quarter, or the end of the first quarter of our semester, if you want to think about it in those terms. Before we dive into the module for this week, I want to show you something. So if I go into Calendar, you can find this information also in Dashboard, but if I go into Calendar, and I see all of the due dates for class this week, right? Can see my discussion board 1.5, discussion board 1.6 and 7. There's a reminder there for the reply of discussion board 1.5. I can see that my rough draft is due, that I have another reminder for discussion board, that I have a reminder for my writing territory, and then I have an extra credit assignment and the first quarter reflection due by Sunday. I can see all of what I need to do this week just by going to Calendar, and I know that you can do that on Dashboard also. But what you're missing is everything in the module, and I want to show you the module for this week. So I can click to this week's module to actually get into it, but if I just want to look and see what's inside, just click Modules. And then I can kind of scroll and see everything that is going on in the module this week. Okay. Now, it's the class activities, the things with due dates. Those are the things that are showing up on the calendar and your to-do list. But all of this instruction here about the essays, that's not on the to-do list. The writing with the mentor text, that's not on the to-do list, right? Because there's no due dates. That's instruction. I know that it is easier to look and work off of the to-do list and work off of the calendar. But when you do that, you're missing all of the instruction, okay? And I know that that is what's happening because over half of all the writing territories last week didn't have a mentor skill, which meant that either people forgot or that folks just turned in the writing territory off of the to-do list without looking at what the mentor text was. Now, up to this point, maybe you felt like this instruction stuff hasn't really been necessary, but what's included in here, this is part of what you're working on as an advanced comp student. And so if you're not, for example, working on paragraph structure, if you're not working to get out of that 3-point thesis and your essay has those components, then those essays are just not going to pass and you're going to have to revise. So, I mean, ultimately the decision is up to you, but everything that you need is in the module. I've had probably easily a dozen students, even in the last couple of days, ask me, well, Miller, how do I conference? And I'm sending you back to the module because everything that you need to conference is explained in here, okay? I had some students email me over the weekend about how to upload their PDF for the rough draft. It's all explained in the assignment. So please, please work through the modules. That's why they're there. The content is there. If you're just working off of the calendar and the to-do list, it's kind of like just showing up at the end of class face-to-face to turn in your assignment without actually staying for what is being taught in the class. Think of it in those terms, okay? All right, with that in mind, let's just kind of take a quick overview of the week. There are actually a lot of points available for you this week, for those of you who are kind of watching your points and your point tracker. The conference, so again, you had conferences last week, this week, and next week. It's an assignment, so you can choose when you want to do it. That's the optional piece, right? You choose when you want to meet, and if you choose not to meet, it just means you don't earn those points for the assignment. We have a discussion board with a reply, another discussion board. We've got some really good readings for you this week. And then your rough draft is due Thursday with the grace period of Friday. So the rough draft, if you're not sure what needs to be included in the rough draft, guess what? It's in the module. Writing territory number 4, which we'll look at, and then kind of our reflection. There's 4 reflections this semester. At every quarter. So as I mentioned at the top, we're nearing the end of our first quarter of the semester. So let's go ahead and take a look. As I have mentioned in previous videos, I always just repost the essay assignment so you can kind of keep that in the kind of the front of your mind as you're working through the essay. So nothing new on this page, just a reminder. I did create this video, and I know the video is from last semester, but I really liked what I said in there so much, and I just didn't feel like I could replicate it because it addressed a lot of what students have questions about. So ignore the dates in this video, but the content is all the same. And that kind of gives you an idea of what to expect for the rough draft. And then again, because this is our first essay of this semester, we're really just kind of working on reminders, right? Reminders about basic paragraph structure, about those key sentences. You probably know those as topic sentences, kind of about the difference between cohesion and coherence. So I have linked here to an online textbook that I really like. This is just one page talking about paragraphs. I would encourage you to read through it, especially if you feel like paragraphs are hard for you. The next page talks more about the thesis statement. And again, especially if you feel like you're struggling with how to get out of writing that 3-point thesis, for sure read through this, because the page really kind of breaks down how to kind of reconceptualize the thesis statement without saying I am going to be writing about A and B and C, right? Because we need to move past that. It's way too limiting for advanced comp and for almost all of your college classes. You're not going to be writing that with that kind of a thesis statement. I've also given you here examples of thesis statements from prior semesters so that you can kind of see some of the feedback that I might give about thesis statements, right? Now, because you're turning in a rough draft this week, what I would like to see is like a thesis idea. And I talk about this in the video a little bit, is that your thesis should not be perfect. Don't make it perfect, because chances are your thesis is going to change as you write your essay. It should be a rough idea. So I need you to kind of underline it or somehow indicate to me what your thesis idea is, so that way I can at least give you some feedback on that. Excuse me, this next page is a reminder to sign up with me for a conference. I've kind of given you some guidelines about how to do that, about what it means to conference when. You can certainly sign up for more than one if you choose, but this walks you through step-by-step how to sign up for a conference. It's pretty easy. And then the rough draft. So again, for the rough draft, you're actually submitting the Google Doc link and giving me editing access. So this little video will walk you through how to give me editing access, what that looks like, what it means. And then you're just going to be uploading your link. All right, and then we dive into the readings. So that was kind of all of the essay work, and now we're back into the content readings. We've got 3 readings for this week. 1.5 is an article by Mary Norris called Between You and Me. And the discussion board here kind of asks you to kind of think about what she's talking about when she gives this. She writes that pronouns turn out to be in our marrow, and kind of thinking about our understanding of gender when it comes to language, and our understanding of sexuality when it comes to language, and kind of for her what changed for her with the change of a pronoun. Her brother changed his pronouns, and so kind of what that means. And again, make sure you're asking a question and giving a reply if you want full credit for that assignment. Again, there's a reminder page that pops up on your to-do list so that you remember to post a reply. The next set of readings, these 2 usually generate quite a bit of conversation. They're short articles, both of them. One's called The Soccer Mom, and the other one is called A Brief History of Karen. And so the idea behind this set is to really think about how language can lead to assumptions and stereotypes about all kinds of things. And so to kind of think about, not about the stereotypes themselves, but about how language lands us there. So you have these 2 articles, and then the discussion board again, kind of trying to unpack the role that language has. And again, kind of thinking again about what David Ludden talked about in his article. So if you haven't yet gone back to reread Article 1.1, which was David Ludden's article that kind of forms the whole essay, I would strongly encourage you to go back and reread it, because you've had the first time you read that article, it was like, whoa, what he's talking about, language and worldview. But you now have several weeks worth of readings under your belt. So now go back and look at that again. And now that you have some more information and you're starting to form your opinions, kind of challenge what he's saying there. Again, he's like, language does shape our worldview. So your question is, well, what do you think it does? And how? And in what way? So once you've kind of read these articles, go back into the Ludden article, reread it, and really kind of ask yourself some of those deeper questions now that we've been talking about this overall theme for a couple of weeks. All right, and then you've got your reminder about the reply. Your mentor text this week is How to Survive a Bear Encounter. It's kind of a fun series in the New York Times. But your mentor skill is the colon. Most folks use colons very infrequently. You know what it is, but you don't necessarily see the use of it. So the goal here is to try to really use it at least once or twice in your writing territory for this week. So you've got a little Khan Academy video walking you through the how-tos, and then this example of how to use a colon, what it looks like in real life. That, of course, is due by Friday. Please remember to be proofreading and use that MLA format. Again, you've got a free template here you can use. So all you have to do is save a copy of it and then make sure that you're highlighting the basic skill. And then you have your first quarter of the semester reflection. So what I would encourage you to do is to go ahead and access that point tracker. If you did not do that the first week of class, I have linked it again for you here. So that way you can kind of, again, keep track of your points in the class. Remember, the final semester grade is a balance between the points and then the feedback that you received on your essays. And so what I want you to do is kind of be mindful of where you are with the points, and then so that way you're on track in that way, and then we'll work on the essays as soon as you get the first one back. The quiz is complete or not complete. There are a series of questions here for you that I would like you to answer, several of them revolving around where you stand right now in the class point-wise and kind of whether or not that's where you want to be. Again, this is not like an A, B, C, D, F. It's just reflective questions, just getting you thinking about where you're at right now and if it's, again, where you want to be. You have one extra credit assignment this week if you would like to complete it. It is an article written by Amy Tan called Mother Tongue, especially for those of you who are writing about language and identity and ethnicity and race. I would encourage you to read Mother Tongue. There might be something here for you that you could use in your essay. Again, that's due by Sunday, no grace period. And then that's it. That's the end of the week. So if you have questions, please let me know. If you would like to come in during student hours, you're welcome to pop in. They are tomorrow from 12 to 2, Thursday from 9:30 to 11. Those are Zoom hours. And then Wednesday night on Pronto, if you have some quick questions I can answer, I can do it then on Wednesday night. Otherwise, I'm looking forward to seeing your rough drafts this week. If you are concerned about anything, then please don't hesitate to reach out. Don't wait until you are struggling to get help. So if there's anything I can do to help support you, then let me know. If I don't see you this week in a conference, have a great week.